I'm here with a 1994 fourth generation Honda Prelude. It does have the electronic four-wheel steering, and we're driving all the heritage first 5 generation Honda Preludes in order to get ready for the 6th generation coming late this year. How well has this 4th gen aged over the last 30 or so years? Let's find out. Now, the 4th gen has always looked a little bit out of place compared to the more boxy and angular brethren within especially the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th generation Prelude. They're much more boxy looking. Honda went full on, like, I'm getting almost like Civic Del Sol vibes from this. It's very rounded. It still looks good, and the looks, as I spend more time with this vehicle, continue to grow on me, but it doesn't necessarily look exactly a part of the family. It's more like a cousin than a direct brother, at least from the styling department. And it doesn't have the cool pop-up headlights that we saw in the 2nd and 3rd gen. However, these headlights, and I'm getting almost like maybe some Pontiac vibes up front from back in the day. But the headlights do allow for a much better aerodynamic experience here. As we look at the wheels here, we do have 15 inches. On the 3rd gen that I just drove before this, they were 14-inch wheels. Now, this generation was the first to offer VTEC. And of course, we have fuel injection like we saw in the 3rd generation. The standard model did not have the VTEC and had noticeably less horsepower. I'll go and put on the screen how much VTEC did give to this powertrain for the 4th generation. Of course, that VTEC lived on in the 5th generation. We see modern derivatives of VTEC still today in Honda's performance vehicles, especially on the Acura end. And just like the 3rd gen I got out of, we have a dual tip exhaust here. We have kind of a cursive font for the Prelude, where the previous model was centrally located, a little bit more blocky looking. But this design, the softness of it really does scream 90s Honda. As we get on the inside, the materials took a huge step up with this generation compared to the 3rd gen. Leather on the door. We still have the vents on the door as well. Window locks here, automatic here on the driver's side. Look at those beautiful leather seats. Now, no one's really gonna be fitting back there. I kind of call that the second trunk in this 2+2, but it's still, look how well those seats have held up, and you'll see why here in a little bit, how well this vehicle has held up for a reason. We do have a memory setting, a manual memory seat. I didn't know that was a thing. 3rd gen I just got out of did have cloth seats, so I really like these perforated leather seats here with nice bolstering. Getting on the inside, it does retain cruise control. Does the sunroof still work? Absolutely does. That's awesome. Sunroof, or should I say moonroof, is something that the Prelude introduced onto the Honda lineup here. The instrument cluster has been like squished and widened. It is, I would say, more minimal than the previous generation, and I'll talk more about that as we start driving. Manual transmission here, 5-speed manual, and the Prelude never got a 6-speed manual. All right, with the mirror controls went from the dash on the 3rd gen here to the armrest area, cup holder, which looks to be a removable ashtray. A lot of people smoked back then. This would almost be like a cigarette carton holder, or this would be as well. Radio, the knob, FM radio, for example. Love how simple the climate control was back then. Look how simple this tape deck and stereo is. The materials on the dash still almost pristine. And of course, this was made in Japan, as I see the J VIN number right there. Guys, less than 500 miles on the odometer. That is not. Oh, what's this button? Oh, that's the clock. Well, there's an Acura MDX Type S. Let's go and start driving this incredible 4th generation Prelude with electronic 4-wheel steering and VTEC, available for the first time in a Honda outside of the NSX. This feels proper 90s to me. The second I got in this car out of the 3rd gen, the dash alone screams 90s to me. All right, my first car was a 93 Mercury Sable, and it had green illuminated speedometer and tachometer. This also has a green fuel gauge. Like, it's all electronically lit, except it looks like the tachs themselves are physical. All right, so pretty neat. I love the green backlit. It's pretty fantastic. It reminds me of old video games from that era, especially the 80s. Even though there's a 90s car, it kind of feels like tech from the 80s, which is awesome. I like how the speakers are also built into the dash where they are. The speakers are facing you directly. Most modern cars, the speakers are blaring straight up. Now, I just got out of the 3rd gen, and the 3rd gen that I drove did not have 4-wheel steering. This model does. Now, the 3rd gen introduced it, but the one I drove was not equipped with it. This one introduced, I think, a more reliable 4-wheel steering system. You Prelude guys will tell me if it's more or less reliable, but they changed it from more of a mechanical from the 3rd gen to this is more of an electronic assisted. However, this car does feel bigger, noticeably bigger than the 2nd gen I just drove. And the AC is not very strong in here compared to the model I just drove. Ooh, there's a cop here, so I gotta be careful. Oh, no, he's doing a UE. That is one cool cop, motorcycle cop right there. Yeah, I've just had deja vu. That's pretty crazy. It's still going on, so maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's the universe saying I need to buy this 4th gen Prelude. You know, when it's sitting next to its rivals, or should I say its lineage, its brothers, it looks kind of out of place with its soft edges. But once I saw it in motion, I'm like, oh man, she's hot. This Prelude's hot. It still looks good compared to, well, let's give it some beans. Oh my gosh, this drives so good. The manual's so good. Oh my gosh. I've been driving the Civic Si this week. I'm trying to get the rev matching. Rev matching first time was not that, I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't that hard either to get it. So like the gearbox is so smooth, so Honda feeling. Very precise shifter. Oh, this has so much more power than that 3rd gen. Oh my gosh, so much more power. So this goes to about 190 horsepower. That 3rd gen I was in had like 135. And like, you know, I had to really work that gas pedal just to get up the hills. And there I was in 4th, only going 40 miles an hour, and I had all the power it needed to go up the hill. So like, from that perspective, the engine, I want this engine in the 3rd gen. The inside actually feels a little bit bigger compared to the 3rd gen, but also I feel much higher off the ground compared to the 3rd gen. Again, I don't know if that's the case. I also have a lot more headroom compared to the 3rd gen. Oh, you know, I can't really hear the engine that much. Maybe it's because I'm blasting this AC. But I would love to put a pipe on here. But again, when you have this is Honda's, right? Honda's pristine, like perfect example. It's essentially showroom floor condition. This 4th gen. I still have the Honda deck. This actually looks really familiar to the 3rd gen I was in. Let's see here. Let's do recirculation. Maybe that'll help the AC. The clock is still up front instead of being centrally located in the previous model. You know, I liked the instrument cluster in the 3rd gen, where the fuel gauge, everything you could see right behind the steering wheel. The time was centrally located, so I prefer that actually on the 3rd gen. I like the 3rd gen's interior quite a bit more. Now this has leather seats, which is quite fantastic. Ride quality between this one and the 3rd gen, I would say it's about the same. 4-wheel steering here, yeah, the handling, oh my gosh. Oh, the handling is, well, I'm not gonna be taking it around a race course or anything, but it feels heavier than the previous generation, You have the power to make up for it. I have the 4-wheel steering here, so the grip is going to be fantastic. But yeah, I was really surprised how good the 3rd gen felt, even without the 4-wheel steering equipped. This car doesn't actually feel that old compared to the 3rd gen. The 3rd gen felt like from another era. This doesn't even have the smell of that 3rd gen. Here's the police, so I gotta behave myself. Full stop, of course. Look both ways. Oh, the police officer didn't do a full stop. Oh, the shifts are so smooth. If you want to manually control your defrost, you have a rotary dial here as well. Let's take the parking brake off. Let's try to get the AC going again and finish off our drive here in the incredible 4th generation Prelude. Oh, the manual just feels so good, so snappy here, and forgiving. It's not like punishing. Driving a more like the 2025 Civic Si is a more punishing experience, because if you try to go a little bit faster than what that transmission likes to go as you upshift, it's really jarring experience. Here, it's just so smooth. The clutch engagement's so smooth. And I'm not gonna bang through the gears like I mentioned, but like, it's just, I've never driven this vehicle before, like 10 minutes ago, and it feels like a glove to me already. The driver engagement here, or should I say the learning curve of these old Hondas is so forgiving. They just made them so easy to drive. And I don't have any creaks or rattles, which I shouldn't for less than 500 miles on the clock. I have less creaks and rattles than I did on that Gen 3. Most of those were coming from the headliner, but again, that car was actually driven. Oh, I actually just reached for a 6th gear. Whoops. Well, you don't want to put it into reverse on accident. So even though this is a manual, I think I like the 3rd gen better. And I'd say probably objectively speaking, this is a better interior, right? Leather seats, better materials on the dash, no hard touch plastics. Like, it's very premium in here. But there's something about that 3rd gen that I felt like I was lowered to the ground. It felt lighter. And it, there's something charming about it not having a lot of power, right? This thing has noticeably more power than that automatic in the 3rd gen. The brakes, I think, felt better on the 3rd gen as well. Well, let's give it full throttle uphill. Yeah, just so much more initial response with this manual compared to the 3rd gen's automatic. Like, the engine just feels so much stronger going up this hill. It's a night and day difference. And I don't have to, what's interesting is I don't have to do as much work. And the manual, you might be saying that's crazy, but the 3rd gen, you really had to keep working that gas pedal with the automatic to squeeze everything you needed to out of that engine to get it moving. This one, you can just kind of leave it in 4th gear and it's gonna pull up hills really, really easily. What a beautiful view and a beautiful car. My goodness gracious. I could go straight into the ocean from here. Now there's a barrier of cars that would stop me, but just leaving in 3rd, maintaining my speed on the way down, engine braking, doing its job. Let's throw it in the turn a little bit harder here. Oh gosh, yeah. I would want to test this on a track because that 4-wheel steering it's like cheating. It's like a cheat code when you have a vehicle this light. And like I said, it doesn't feel as light or as nimble as a 3rd gen. 4-wheel steering is still like cheating. And it's crazy, These Preludes brought out technology that is still hard to find today. Four-wheel steering, like, good luck finding that on a modern car. Like, you typically have to get into a $60,000 plus luxury vehicle that has four-wheel steering. I can't really think of anything under that price point. All right, and so here the Prelude was for under $30,000 back in the 90s and 80s, but offered four-wheel steering, a revolutionary technology that still hasn't quite taken off, surprisingly. And it's easier now than ever to implement four-wheel steering, but manufacturers they're cheap. They cheap out, I guess. I don't know. Let me know if you guys know why four-wheel steering isn't more commonly implemented in today's cars. Is it more difficult to certify them for crash safety? Is it just a cost thing? It just costs too much money? I don't know. Like the TX 500H was the last vehicle I drove that had four-wheel steering. A lot of the Germans implement four-wheel steering. Genesis even does it, I believe, on their G90. I think, like the GMC Hummer, of course, has it, the EV. So it still seems like an out-of-reach technology that is. He was checking out the Prelude, and this, like, four-wheel steering massively improves the experience. All right. Yes, obviously when you're taking turns hard, but in everyday driving, especially in parking maneuvers, the four-wheel steering is just such a nice thing to have. Oh, this thing is just so easy to drive on inclines. Yeah, it's crazy that it's so much easier and more natural to drive than a car that's 30 years newer in a 2025 Honda Civic Si. And compared to like so many other cars that have manuals, like the Civic Si, still really fun and engaging and rewarding to drive. But the manual here on this 95 model or whatever I'm driving is it's chef's kiss. Maybe adding a 6th gear for highway is the only thing that could improve it. It's just so good. That's a cool car. That was a cool Porsche. He was checking out the Prelude. He knows. Okay, CX-5. Don't mind me. I'm gonna go. That's one of the sketchiest intersections I've ever seen. I will say it does feel very Civic Si in that all you get is engine noise. At least it's not pumped through the speakers at all, but it's just engine noise and no exhaust note. I'm going to end my time with the 4th generation Honda Prelude. Just so smooth, so refined. Not quite as charming as that 3rd gen. The styling took a questionable route, and they killed that route because sales dropped with this 4th gen. And they went back to more of a boxy style with the 5th gen. But from a driver's perspective, this is more of a grand touring sort of vehicle. It doesn't feel nearly as playful as that 3rd gen did, but it's definitely a more comfortable experience. I'll say that. I have more room in here, and the four-wheel steering was taken to that next level. All right, the 5th gen never got the four-wheel steering in the United States, which was very frustrating in my opinion, extremely frustrating. They offered it in other markets on the 5th gen, but if you want four-wheel steering and you don't want to import it from Japan on a 5th gen, this is your last generation to get that four-wheel steering in. I'll see you guys in the comments. Let me know what you think of the 4th gen Prelude. Is it one of your favorites? I mean, you either like the styling or it falls short of what you expect from a Prelude with that boxy identity that the 3rd, 5th, and 2nd gen had. All right, but I'm signing out. I'm kind of making myself car sick driving through these twisties. I'm signing out. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.